Fighting a war on multiple fronts is one of the most complex challenges for any military, as it requires balancing resources, attention, and strategy across different regions, threats, and opponents. A successful multi-front war strategy must combine military, political, and diplomatic elements. Here are some key strategies often employed in such scenarios. 1. Prioritization and focus. Concentration of forces. A key principle is to concentrate the main effort on the most dangerous or strategically important front. For example, Israel might focus on Gaza if Hamas poses the most immediate threat while maintaining defensive postures elsewhere. Defensive on secondary fronts. While focusing on the primary front, a defensive strategy is often employed on secondary fronts to avoid being overwhelmed. This may include relying on fortified positions, missile defense systems, and air power to hold off enemies without committing large numbers of troops. Rapid shifting of resources. High mobility and logistics are crucial. Israel, for example, can rapidly redeploy forces using helicopters, armored vehicles, and transport planes to move troops and equipment from one front to another as threats evolve. 2. Use of technology and intelligence. Precision strikes and drones. Modern warfare on multiple fronts benefits from precision-guided munitions, drones, and air superiority. Targeted strikes can eliminate key enemy assets without requiring large ground forces. Israel's use of drones, advanced intelligence, and cyber capabilities helps neutralize threats quickly across different areas. Intelligence superiority. Having superior intelligence allows a nation to preempt attacks or strike key targets before the enemy can mobilize. Real-time intelligence on enemy movements, communication interception, and drone surveillance allow forces to anticipate attacks on different fronts. 3. Alliances and proxy warfare. External support. Maintaining strong international alliances can provide logistical, military, and financial support. For example, Israel's alliance with the U.S. provides advanced weapons systems and intelligence sharing, easing the burden of fighting on multiple fronts. Proxy and indirect engagement. Supporting or utilizing proxy forces in less critical fronts allows the main military force to focus on the principal enemy. For instance, Israel's cooperation with local groups, such as certain Palestinian factions or regional allies like Egypt or Jordan, can help stabilize secondary fronts. 4. Layered defense systems. Missile defense systems. In multi-front wars, especially when facing missile threats from multiple directions, layered missile defense systems are essential. Israel's use of systems like the Iron Dome for short-range rockets, David's Sling for medium-range threats, and Arrow for ballistic missiles creates a robust defensive network to protect against attacks from Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran. Fortified positions. Along border areas or at strategic locations, heavily fortified positions and barriers, like the Israel-Lebanon border defenses, can help slow down or prevent enemy advances, buying time for forces to respond. 5. Psychological and information warfare. Deception and misinformation. In multi-front wars, deception plays a critical role. For example, conducting feints or misinformation campaigns can confuse the enemy about where the main attack will take place. Israel has historically used tactics like disinformation or misdirection to keep adversaries off balance. Maintaining morale. In prolonged multi-front wars, maintaining the morale of both the military and the civilian population is key. Strategic communication, emphasizing national defense and resilience, helps keep the population supportive and reduces internal dissent. 6. Economy of force and efficient logistics. Resource management. A multi-front war can quickly deplete a nation's military resources. Strategic leaders must ensure efficient use of manpower, ammunition, fuel, and equipment to avoid overstretching. Israel's reliance on reserve forces allows them to mobilize quickly while conserving their active forces. Logistics and supply lines. Maintaining secure and efficient supply lines is essential to support forces across different battlefields. In multi-front conflicts, a failure in logistics can cripple operations, so Israel ensures secure routes for resupply, even using airlifts if land routes are threatened. 7. Diplomatic maneuvering. Negotiating ceasefires on one front. Sometimes, diplomatic efforts can temporarily neutralize one front, allowing a country to focus resources on the main theater. Israel has negotiated short-term ceasefires with groups in Gaza or mediated by Egypt to reduce fighting on one front while dealing with a more dangerous threat. Maintaining global support. Diplomatically engaging with key global powers ensures political and material support throughout the conflict. For Israel, securing continued U.S. and European support helps sustain military operations, while mitigating international pressure against civilian casualties. 8. Preemptive strikes and offensive operations. Preventing escalation. Sometimes, the best defense is a strong offense. Preemptive strikes can disrupt enemy plans before they can launch coordinated attacks from multiple fronts. Israel has a history of striking weapons caches, leaders, or military infrastructure of enemies like Hamas or Hisbullah to keep them on the defensive. Offensive against weaker opponents. If one front presents a weaker adversary, launching decisive, quick strikes there can neutralize that threat early on. For example, Israel might neutralize Hamas in Gaza quickly to focus on Hezbollah in the north if Hezbollah is considered a more formidable threat. 9. Reserves and flexible military structure. Flexible force structure. Having a military that can adapt to different types of warfare, urban combat, desert warfare, missile defense, allows rapid redeployment and shifting tactics. Israel's IDF has a flexible structure with highly trained reserve forces that can be mobilized quickly in response to threats on any front. Maintaining strategic reserves. It's important to keep strategic reserves of troops and supplies that can be deployed wherever the situation deteriorates. Israel keeps certain brigades and units in reserve for rapid deployment across fronts. 10. Cyber warfare and electronic warfare. Cyber attacks. In modern warfare, cyber warfare plays a critical role, especially in multi-front conflicts. Disrupting enemy communications, targeting their infrastructure, and defending one's own systems are crucial. Israel's cyber capabilities have been used to neutralize threats from Iranian and Hamas cyber cells. Electronic warfare. Jamming enemy radars, communications, and missile guidance systems can give a strategic advantage across multiple fronts. Israel's electronic warfare capabilities help prevent coordinated attacks by enemy forces across different regions. In summary, fighting a multi-front war requires a blend of military force, technological superiority, intelligence, logistics, and diplomacy. Prioritizing threats, maintaining flexible force structures, and using preemptive or defensive strategies tailored to each front are essential to success. Israel's current strategy in managing threats from Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran illustrates how these principles are put into practice in modern warfare.